together, but you know.
Yeah. We don't have the brains. Yeah.
Yeah. Brains, the looks, just everything really.
Nick, I'll tell you a minute ago, he said, I wish he was here.
Oh, you've been shit on, Russ.
I know.
No, so I could punch you, he said, didn't you?
I've gone a bit Walter White. I got my missus to shave my head.
Why would you do such a thing?
I don't want to have to talk to my barber.
Can you put a cap on because you're blinding me?
So I'm glad I'm not the baldest one now, so I'll take that.
I might have to turn a light off. I'm normally the hairiest one. This is terrifying.
Right. Should we do it?
Yeah, might as well.
This is the Scarf Bagara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbagarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.
Hello everyone, the time is fast approaching 7:01. It's a Tuesday night. We thought we'd go a bit mental and do an extra podcast with me, Nick Lee, and who are you?
I'm Russ Johnson. We're in the County Arms, live in the County Arms.
And first of all, tell me who's with you.
We've got author and county stalwart Phil Brennan, and commentator extraordinaire, anchorman, co-anchor, quanker,
Renaissance man.
We'll stop there.
We've also got Rick Pennington, or as everybody knows him, Pennodraws.
By far the most famous of the two of us.
I don't know about that.
For his debut in the County Arms, Nick. We wish you were here.
I wish I was here, but I would not have been. I would, judging by the time I got home, 4 minutes to 7. I don't think I'd have made it to yours for 7. Would have been really awkward, wouldn't it? Would have been like when Steve Bellis walked in while we were talking to, was it a Halifax fan?
No, Notts County lads. It was the Notts
County
lads.
The Notts County lads, wasn't it? And Steve Bellis just sauntered in like it was the type of thing he does every day.
I've just read the bottom message there. That's tickled me. That.
Yeah, we are getting the messages through. Not everyone can see that. Well, we'll put the message up. I mean, I can't even see the message. So, Nick, I think you're on message duty.
It says, "Good evening, boys and girls." Oh, I'm Nick.
Yes. Was that Joe Inglefield by any chance? Yeah.
That's Ian Dowden on top form as ever. So yeah, good evening, Ian. Good evening, Joe. Good evening, Nick. John Billsbury isn't speaking to us, but is speaking to Joe, apparently, which is really nice of him.
No, so I'm seeing John on Saturday. I'm going to give him a t-shirt and buy him a pint for supporting the pod. There we go.
That's nice. Well, don't go telling everyone that because they'll all get the wrong idea. They'll all be wanting one.
I'm only buying him a pint. In fact, he doesn't even drink, so I'm just going to buy him a soft drink. So
Did you check that first?
No, I didn't actually. I was quite surprised, to be honest.
Do you drink? Surprised. No. Well, I'd love to buy you a pint.
Right? Should we
value?
Should we explain why we're here on this Tuesday night
on Earth on this spinning football we all call Earth? Or on the show. Start with on the show, and then we'll think about the other stuff.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about why we're on the show. So it's a special episode. We've not done 2 in a week for absolutely ages. Actually, it's probably. We're here to do a book review, and because we've got to announce a special book that's coming out, we want to talk about it. But we're going to cover not all of them because there's fucking loads, but county books throughout history. Some of the more obscure ones and some of the famous ones, and
I'll tweet that.
You'll tweet. See them all on the chair there. There you go.
Some of them,
and we've got them on
in a box over there.
So we're gonna talk about a few of those. We're not gonna go through all of them, as I just said. So we'll kick off. Phil's the book extraordinaire.
I think I said to Nick the other day, I am to books what Ben is to shirts. I think it's about the same, isn't it? Not the same level. Luckily, because otherwise there'd be no room in the house, would there?
But in terms of the completeness of the collection,
yeah, and also they're not match worn. These books,
yeah.
So I don't know where that. I mean, Ben's probably sitting there typing now. They don't count if they're not match worn. But they're all in good nick, and I think that's the most important thing. So. Well, do you want to tell us, we're going to have a little running order, I think. So
yeah, so we're going to...
First time for everything.
Well, it's because Rick needs to speak first before he dries up.
No, we're gonna well, we've already covered why we're here, but we're gonna talk about an idea about a book that Rick came up with, and then we'll show you what that is and where you can get it, I guess, and all those good things. And then we're gonna go through the actual collection. So we'll go through Phil's top 10. And yeah, and then we'll just have a bit of a chat about the books, I think.
Before you do that, Russ,
yeah.
Before you do that, is there a chance of another light on?
Is it very dark?
Yeah, it's very moody. Yeah,
I wanted to get the picture on in the background. You see, that's what I wanted.
I know it's a fucking tight. Oh, look at that!
Oh,
glorious Technicolor.
Oh, you're showing all my highlights.
There we go.
You've never looked so good, Brennan.
Oh, I have.
Should have got makeup
about 40 years ago. Right, oh, look.
There we go. So we're all drenched in light now. So Rick, do you want to tell us about the book?
Yeah. So obviously, as you've seen over there, there's loads of county books that are already out, but a lot of them are aimed at the adult or the older gentleman.
Yeah.
I've got
none taken.
If anyone follows me on Twitter or Instagram or anything, you'll have seen that I've got a little 6-year-old boy, and he's just getting into Stockport County at the moment. So obviously I take him to all the games, and obviously we're really lucky at the moment that we've had the Bolton game, of the Rotherham game. Although we lost, it was a great day out. Everyone really enjoyed it. So it's just about building on, and I think the word legacy was used a few sort of weeks and months ago in this pod about because it's so easy to go and support those two teams down the road now, isn't it? So the more things you've got to hook kids in at that younger age, the better. So I rang Phil, obviously, because I know he's an expert with the books, and I said,
I can just about read.
Is there?
He's read at least 3.
He looked at the pictures. So yeah, I said, is there a book for kids? Obviously, because I'd like to get one for my son, and there wasn't. So I said, well, I've got an idea. Sort of run through the history of Stockport County, because obviously there's been a lot of good things happen to us over the years, and it'd be nice to showcase that to kids, and they can see that county do have a great history, and that's where it came from. So obviously I said to him, I'll do the pictures, you do the words, and it just went from there.
Would you imagine what it'd been like if he'd done it the other way around?
What you did on the pictures?
Yeah, matchstick. They'd have all been very tall, thin men. But anyway, there you go. Yeah, I'm just a bit gutted. I hadn't thought of the idea myself, really, because obviously my kids have now got kids of their own, and it's something I'd not even thought about. So, we've done a bit. Well, we've done a cricket book together, which isn't football, which is on the MCC are looking at, which is quite.
There's the episode title there.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So we're quite excited about that, but we'd forgotten about it. It's been sent off, and we just left it, haven't we? We're waiting for it. Cricket's run by even older people than me, so they're taking the time. So I think they've had near enough half a season. So we were like, well, what we've got to agree on is it can't be too big. There can't be loads of words, because obviously, we're looking at a much younger audience. So we had a spreadsheet that was we agreed on as much good stuff as we could and as very little bad stuff as we could. So and then we sort of turned it around and thought, well, actually, if we sort of bullet point, so some of the pages have got more than one bit of history on it. So I think that's good for, rather than just sort of, that's that bit. So we were quite excited about it, and we had a couple of samples made and showed them to kids basically. And what do you think of that? And they didn't like the pictures. Didn't like no. So the people who saw it were really people like, that's a great idea.
So just take us through then the process to the view. Oh yeah.
So that's what it's called. It's called.
If you're listening on the podcast,
you
need to watch it really.
It's basically based, on the song "Clear Blue Skies Over Edgeley" sort of thing, and it's just a really, we think it's a fun journey through the history of Stockport County. So sorry, I was going to say, take us through the process then of not just how you got in contact, but what is the actual process of creating a book? Because I haven't got a Scooby. We've done a couple before, haven't we?
Yeah, well, this is the third one we've done now.
So
right.
But if we go back to the first one, it was a case of, look, I've done these words. Can you imagine in your head what I can imagine? And on this process here, there was quite a few pages where we had a discussion. Where I saw something else and Rick drew something, and sometimes he would and sometimes I would.
Right.
Like the Argentina kit was a
so
good example of
there was things that we thought, well, that's a little bit too
right. So it is collaborative. It's not it's not tennis. I'll pass it to you. You do it, and
that's how it starts. So once we'd agreed on how many pages, because we didn't want it to be like, you know, a great big tome for kids that they couldn't even carry, because, you know, we're looking at a book day at school and stuff like that. So you're looking at kids who are going to take it into school on a Friday, things like that. So it had to be, the reason it's that shape, that big, is because that seems to be a popular sort of size, and gave us room for nice drawings, and, you know, the words are quite a good size font. So once we'd agreed on the basis of where we were going, then sort of Rick did his bit, and then he would send it back to me, and I'd go, well, actually, I'm going to amend the words to make things fit. And I spoke to Steve Bellis as well. We had a bit of input from Steve. There's a page about the China tour and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not something that we've just kept to ourselves and gone, there you go. We've spoken to, you know, county fans that we know and trust. So it's
I think another thing as well is with the book. So obviously a lot of the pictures that are in there were based on black and white photos, but we turned them into color. And like I said, my 6-year-old lad, if he sees a book that's black and white, it doesn't interest him, but the fact it's color, it sort of brings the history to life a little bit as well.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I openly admit I don't read books, but I'd read this one. There's lots of pictures. It's very colourful. Comic Sans as well. It's about my.
When I first approached Rick, because it's weird, right? So Rick's wife used to be my babysitter, but
She used to babysit you.
Nobody's ever babysat me, unfortunately.
Not for want of trying.
No, I'm out there. So Rachel used to babysit my 2 eldest, but Rachel's dad was my teammate back in, like, I won't say how long ago, but we were both very much younger than we are today. So we sort of known each other eventually. Then we've played football and, you know, we've done stuff. But when I first approached Rick, I'd been looking at the posters and stuff, and I thought, I've got a story that would go great with that style of stuff. And we sort of tested the water, and it worked. So then we did the cricket thing, which we're hoping will take off in time for the next season. So this was a no-brainer. And what you're right about the colours. The best thing about this is because it's chronological, you can see the way the kits change. You can see the way that, you know, style of people change. And I think we've covered pretty much every single Edgeley Park hero, for want of a better phrase, that there has been. You know, there's got to be some people are going to go, oh, you've not talked about that time in.
Yeah.
That happens, you know. But we try to be as fair as we can with every sort of era. You know, we've not just gone, oh, I didn't like that bit. You know, we've sort of done as much as we can, but we tried. The only thing that we've had poetic license with is the fact that we decided we weren't putting anything about administration in.
Right. Yeah.
Little kids don't. Not that they. Once they get old enough, they'll understand that.
Yeah.
But this is about positivity. We've not done. I mean, we've covered the conference.
We've done non-league stuff.
We've covered the non-league stuff, and you know, we've ended it sort of recently, but we've ended it with Mark Stock coming in and changing the way everything is. So we're not talking about managers getting sacked. Obviously, Jim's in there and Danny's in there, and there's lots of managers. Ace Hartford. There's lots of people in there that have been moved on for one reason or another, but we've steered away from the negativity of it all.
But do you know what strikes me just flicking through it? Forget that it's a kid's book. It's a good book in its own right, and I don't think there's anything else that I can see that would cover it like you have with some of the stars that are in there. I say stars, some of the players that weren't stars at the time. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, and again, you know, anybody that I've spoken to about this is Rick's baby, really. I mean, Rick's made it much easier for me to do the bit I've done. I mean, like things like that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, we talked about. Sorry, I'm pointing at something that nobody can see. What are those characters called?
The Corinthian figures.
Corinthian figures. Yeah. So basically, we've in that era, those type of characters or little models were very popular. So it made sense to put the county players like that. So we've sort of dug into history of football as well. You know, we've sort of gone,
yeah.
So
everything's very era appropriate.
Yeah. So
when
when you know an 8-year-old, 9-year-old's looking at those figures, their dad or the granddad's going to go, "Oh God, I used to collect them." So it's not just about county; it's about football. But obviously, county's the theme that runs right through it.
I think it's brilliant. It's really good, isn't it? It really is.
Can we move on? No. Listen, that's the feedback. When people look at it, that's the genuine feedback. So the first time Russ has actually had time to look through it, that's a natural reaction. That's the reaction that everybody's had, isn't it?
Yeah, that's something I've been looking forward to. People being able to see it.
Yeah.
Because we've been
to be honest, I'm fairly convinced this is the first time Russ has just looked at a book full stop. I don't think it's amazing, isn't it?
I can see a county book up
there
that's actually in my top 10. Not many people will have heard of it.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh,
I've got a few.
It's only in my top 10 because I was in here the other day and I saw it.
So you moved it into your top 10 for that?
No, I didn't.
Brilliant. Right. So I guess the thing to say then is, where can people buy this? How much is it? All that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So it's £12. You can buy it from my Etsy, which is the easiest way to do it. Or if you'd rather contact me and Phil directly, you can buy it that way. Obviously, because Christmas is coming, we're desperate to get it out in time for people for Christmas. So if you're in a local SK postcode, we'll do our best to deliver it to you. If you live a little bit further away, we'll send it recorded delivery for £3.50 as well. So we'll make sure it gets you before Christmas if you do order it.
We did discuss putting it in the club shop, and obviously we just didn't get it out in time. So the club are looking at stocking it in the new year. So it's not something that, you know, we've done and we've not told anybody about. We were in discussions until as recently as end of the week. So we just couldn't promise that we could get it in the shop. So it made sense to say, look, what we're doing is we're fulfilling all the orders that people, once we started tweeting about it, which was only not last weekend, the weekend before, we started putting messages out there. And it's just, I mean, I've got to say, we're overwhelmed that so many people have sent messages like, where can we get this book? Where can we get this book? You know, there's people sending me private messages that, you know, I wouldn't expect to send me a message and like, I need to get that book for me, such a body, or my grandson, or my nephew, or whatever. So I've even had one of my friend's wives offering to hand deliver them for us around Stockport because she's got one for her nephew and she wants to make sure if she can help us. I didn't tell you that, did I?
No, you didn't. That's handy.
But so it's, you know, I mean, the fact that people are so willing to get it out there proves that, you know, Rick's idea was a great idea. You know, and if I'm honest, I'm just riding along with it. It's great.
Good stuff. Absolutely good stuff.
It's also nice. I mean, I know it's marketed as a book for kids, but it's just cool just to look at. It's cool. I'll be getting one as well because it's fucking cool regardless. Like, yeah, and it's also that thing for kids of kind of carrying a book around that your mates don't all have. I was the same. I told you
We're
before.
going to come to that.
Yeah, I was a weird kid at school carrying county books around, and it was just that thing of like, yeah, I'm reading this. You and your fucking Harry Potter, piss off. I mean, Harry Potter's good as well.
Is it?
It's funny though, you know, because my lads started going to school in a county bobble but only since we've had this little run that we've had. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. It's about building.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely, it is. Yeah.
I mean, my son's 26, and apart from, he was at Wembley when he was be about 12, would he be 2008, something like that. But 11, 12, he remembers it. But he was 11 or 12.
Yeah.
You know? So I think the occasion and everything, just he doesn't actually remember how good it was. Do you know what? Did we play Huddersfield away the first game the following season?
Yeah, I got
more out of that.
I got arrested.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
We'll go into that later. But he got more out of that because he was another good few months older. And
Yeah.
The following that day was, if anything, because it was so compact.
Yeah.
The Carl
Yeah.
Baker, come on, he was unbelievable.
I got arrested.
So he's now. So yeah, got arrested. I was trying to smooth over.
I think Tommy Rowe scored the equaliser, didn't he?
Yeah.
The coppers told me.
We took a great. You missed a great goal. Oh,
Did you get
mate,
arrested, Ross?
Your team's just scored a great goal, but you didn't see it.
No.
So obviously he was at Nuneaton, but again, that's coming out of the 6th division, so it was great. But this last few weeks,
Yeah, it's done
like
something.
the little lights come on in his head. And when we were playing Bolton, and it was my first night out after I'd had COVID, so I'd not been out for a few weeks, and wrapped up, I couldn't move, was that bloody wrapped up. When it got to 3-1, he was like, oh. And I said, Joe, think about it. They've not actually had a shot, and they're rubbish. If we scored the next goal, we're going to win. And I actually texted my mate who was watching at home, and he'd said the same, what's going on? I said, if we score the next goal, we will win this game. And then after the game, he was like, I said, that's what it used to be like, pretty much every week.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, his first game, a quick one, his first game was, we beat Mansfield 6-3.
Yeah.
Texans' first game. And his first game, we won 6-3. My first game, we lost 5-4. And between my first game and his first game, there wasn't another 9-goal game at Edgley Park. Fact for you there.
Hasn't been since, has they?
Probably not. I'm not having any more kids, if that's what you're But yeah, so I suppose what I'm saying is, yes, this book is for little kids, but the older kids have missed out on a lot of stuff as well. So, you know, I agree. I think I know at least one adult who's getting that for Christmas because his daughter's told me she's buying it him because he would want it, but he wouldn't want to be seen to be buying it.
Oh,
So
God.
she's bought it for him. But no, I think, you know, like you say, I think it's a book for all ages, but it's aimed at kids.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Adults do get stuff. I think adults will learn stuff reading it as well.
Well, you get a message of somebody saying off one of your photographs, I didn't know that about the Argentina kit on one of your tweets, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
So
What about it being decommissioned halfway through? Yeah.
Just like you at Huddersfield, Russ.
He doesn't miss a
Oh,
trip, does he?
I know.
I'm trying to work out where he would sit because we're supposed to be socially different.
on Russ's knee.
Like usual.
Yeah.
When the lights are off.
Right, should we move on to some of the other books then? And what I suggest we do is you've got a top 10, haven't you? Do you want to go through those? And as we go through them, you can get it and we can show it to the camera and things.
I suppose what I'm thinking is the only people who might have more county books than me are probably Desinks, not junior, Desink senior, and Marcus Heap, Ian Watts. They're the sort of people who are even more bookwormy than I am. I got into county books very, very early on. I didn't carry the one round that you had because I was at work then. I'd looked at a right tool, walking around with. And by the way, you missed. We're talking about the complete history or the complete record, Breedens. People of my age, we call it the Bible. It was always the Bible because it was the first real thing. So I've got 39, I think. 40 county books, but 25 county books and 14, 15, maybe 16 books that are either got county in them, like Simon Myers, who we'll come to Simon Myers in a minute, but there's a few books that sort of mention Stockport county quite a bit, but they're not actually county books. I suppose briefly, my top 10 of the books I have, a little bit of self-indulgence. This came out earlier this year, and it was really my tribute to the late, great Richard Harmwell, because whilst he was ill, we were doing the 125-year DVD that came out. Well, it was, to tell you the truth, when we started it, it was a VHS. So we started writing the Stockport County history. 125 years wasn't even talked about when we started it. And so it was going to be the Stockport County video history, and then by the time we finished it, Richard had passed away anyway, but it became a DVD. And when he got really ill, I approached Breedens because we had a deal with Breedens for another Stockport County book. When we started writing it, we were in the championship. When we were nearly finishing it, we were on the brink of going out of the Football League. So Breedens went, "Oh no, you're not going to sell many. So your contract's been ripped up." So I basically put together all the words we got for the script, and we brought out a pictorial history, which, you know, thanks to everybody who bought it, but I genuinely thought it wasn't quite the book it should have been. So now this is a full colour. So this is the same. It's not the same book. It's got a lot more in it, but it's colour. So it's based on a pictorial history, but it goes from 1883 up to more or less the present day. But I've got to be honest, the bit at the back is more of a roundup of the non-league, because somebody somewhere is going to write the non-league history, and I don't want to do that. It would break my heart to write the Stockport County non-league years. I couldn't bring myself to do it. So that's for somebody else to do. So this does mention the non-league era, but it was really, I wanted to do justice to a pictorial history, but just couldn't do it as colour, so I've added a bit to it. So that's number 10, but it's the only bit of self-indulgence. I'm not going to mention Danny Bergara, but did, right. So you'll probably see my appeals. I can't find my copy of this. Luckily, Gary Kimber let me have this one.
Let you have it. Borrow, lend,
I'm putting a donation to a charity of his choosing.
Right.
And get some beer in.
And you know what's going to happen, don't you?
No, I'm actually I'm paying for it.
No, you're going to find yours when you get home.
Yeah, but I've got two of most of these anyway. That's the annoying thing, Nick. I know I've got 2 copies of this somewhere, and I've had to go and buy a third. So this was really, obviously, the second promotion in my time, but the one that meant the most, because obviously we'd not been promoted for so long, and this sort of went. This was Danny Bergara's it's his first full season, wasn't it? No, second season. So that was celebrating getting out of the 4th division at the right end. Goodbye to the 4th.
So before you continue, then, just to put a bit into it, goodbye to the 5th.
The 5th.
Have I got
the North?
The North.
There.
Oh, is that there?
So it's like a play on words.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Like
No, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking of Too Sexy for the 5th. That's what I was thinking of.
Bloody hell, Russ. One day, mate, you're going to find out what goes in sausages.
Is that considered a book then? It looks like a magazine.
The county booklets, celebratory.
Right. Yeah.
Souvenir booklet.
Yes.
I call them booklets. Some people call them brochures.
Okay.
Right. So this is number 8, and this is the book
That's what I've got.
Russ has got.
I've got that as well. Yeah.
And I sort of say, I just think it's a lovely little, and it's so cleverly put together, and it's like our book, but for adults, sort of thing.
You'd still buy our book, though.
Does that make sense? Most of these books are out of print. That's one of the reasons I like them. But yeah, so that was sort of Carol Ann Perry. It was done together with the council, so it was like 100 years. So I really like that. This one is when Friday night was county night, so everybody who's got the same colour hair as me will remember. And it's put together by a lad who obviously went to a lot of the same games I went to, and I think you can still get this on Amazon somewhere. Barry Cheatham. It's just quite a funny little book, and it talks about the sort of daft things that you get up to at away games. And again, it's a book that a lot of county fans of today would never have even heard of, and probably don't even know we used to play on a Friday night. This is Trevor Baxter's hastily put together. Sorry, Trev. I know Trevor. This was to celebrate the greatest season in living memory of 96-97.
Oh yeah.
And it's mostly pictures, which you'd like that, Nick. A lot of pictures in there.
Do me.
Vintage port. And
yes, I've got that as well. That's another one of the ones I carried around at school with me.
Because it's a great book. And at the time, similar sort of era feeling to what's going around the club now. It was
absolutely.
We were on the way up. And so everybody bought a copy, even people who weren't county fans. So, I like that. This, never seen that before.
No, I haven't, no.
Seen that before, Nick?
No.
Put it a bit closer.
That's a new one on me. That is. Oh yes.
Light came on.
Yeah. I can't even remember what it stands for now. But it's someone off one of the message boards.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's County Heaven. Ah, right. Okay, yeah.
County Heaven. Yeah, I knew it was a message board.
So
Yeah.
My favorite message board.
County Heaven's Anecdotes of Sport. So basically, I got Gareth Evans and Greg Hall, I think, that I got them involved in writing for the program when I was at the club, and they brought this out round about the same. I loved their stuff. They were so funny. They used to write stuff, and I'd be like, "You should write for the program." And they did. And this didn't come from the program, but this tells you why I got them into the program, because there's some great, not just their stories, lots of stories of people off the original County Heaven when it first came out, and it's the sort of book that you just sit and laugh and think, bloody hell, did that really happen or whatever? But
just like a bit of message board history. Maybe we do a pod about message board histories, Nick, at some point. But is that not County Heaven, not the old BBC 606 message board? Did they migrate into that? Yeah.
That was a bit too highbrow for me.
What, County Heaven?
No, 606.
606.
I struggled to spell it. That was the problem. Anyway, so yes, chaos. Everybody should have a bit of chaos in their life. This is another old pal.
My son's got that.
I've not seen him for a while. Guy Nelson. The Legends of Stockport County. It's a great little book. My only problem with it is the shape. Really don't like the shape, because books should be bigger. If you're going to put pictures of footballers in and do a bit of writing, doing a bit of justice, it should be at least that big, shouldn't it? But no, it's a great little book. And again, I don't know if any of these are available anymore.
I don't know. I bought that for my son, but I like that one because it won't change much, will it?
No. Well,
I mean, it's changed
at all because it's printed.
Doesn't age.
Oh, do you mean that?
Yeah.
Well, again, I don't know, because some people will be clamouring to put Matty Warburton in it, and as much as I like Matty, he's not a Stockport County legend.
Well, and that's the debate around that, isn't it? Who is? No, we're not going to get into it now.
Ant Sherritt wrote about that, didn't he? Quite recently. Ant Sherritt wrote. Didn't he?
Yes, yeah, he did. He did a blog about it. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
I really liked a lot of it.
Come on.
No, it's good. This
football's all about opinion, Phil.
Of course it is, and I've got one, and you lot haven't. This is The Diary of a Madman, better known as Saturday Night, Thursday Morning by our own Mr. Espley.
Friend of the podcast.
Yeah, someone of this parish.
Yeah. Oh, he signed it. In here,
you've been lucky finding one he hasn't.
I take great pleasure in being in this book, but not because I'm in it, but because it's the day that he was throwing up all over the place as I took him to the pub. And he blames it on a bad pint, like we all
Yeah.
So, no, but it is, as if you've obviously already, you might have read it, I don't know. You've probably read bits.
I've read bits of it, yeah.
Dave's probably told you lots of stuff in it. It's very, very funny. Dave's a funny guy, but it is a very funny book.
Well, we did a special episode on that season, didn't we?
Yeah.
I can't. It's on Anchor. It's not on YouTube. If anyone wants to go back and listen to it,
I've got to pick this one up. It's quite heavy, and I can imagine being a young boy carrying it around school. It must have been really hard work. So there you go. The Bible. Only
this
number
is before
2.
I went through puberty as well, so I had a nightmare carrying that around.
Oh dear. This is only number 2 though. It's not number 1. So that is probably the book that most people, if they've got a county book, they've probably got that one. I've actually got one in the wrapper that's never been opened, and it never will get opened until after I've gone. So someday, if you see me if you see me in the paper and I've gone, you know where. There's probably 2 of most of these. This is my number 1 book, and it's purely number 1 book because it's so old-fashioned, and this was Simon Myers. He wrote this, and I think they call it typesetting, but it's actually looks like he's been written on a typewriter, and it's
oh yeah,
it's like an old program,
and it's been photocopied, and the company that photocopied it were actually good enough estate agents. So I don't know whether he worked there or not, but they photocopied all the pages for him, stapled it, and then they sold it like that. And that is as good as mint condition from 1966. Was the first book I ever bought about county. And I was about 10. I think I bought it in 68, I think. So that is in pretty much mint condition. And that is why it's number 1 in my book chart.
That is definitely a new one on me. That I did not expect to come here and hear of a book I'd not seen before, but that's new information to me. That
you every now and then they appear on those there what's it sites, but it's, if I can just put me microphone down. So it's got photocopied. Where are we? Sorry. Photocopied photographs in it, like you wouldn't expect. So if you did it as a school project,
that's what it'd look like. Yeah,
it'd look like, isn't it? But I just think it's genius. And it's got pictures from when we played West Ham in the 60s away and stuff like that, and just really lovely bit of kit. And I have got a spare one of these wrapped away somewhere as well. But no, I just think I am a bit of a nerd where county history is concerned. I just like to, collect stuff that. Well, I used to collect a lot of stuff, but that's about the only thing I'm allowed to keep now. So, and that was my top 10 Stockport County. I've got a top 11. I've now got this book here.
Oh yeah.
See how I took us back to the other book then. Good, good link.
So when you drew comparisons earlier about the shirts, Ben's shirts, and your books, is there a book out there that do you know about all the books? Are they all on the?
No, I genuinely. Well, I said to you this earlier on. I was Googling, looking for other just Stockport County books and seeing if anything popped up that I hadn't got. And there is one, Nick. There's one came out this year. And it was written by a chap called Alan J. Edwards. And I think, how old is he? Where's that piece of paper? It's in there.
He's 80s, isn't he?
Just bear with me.
It's like the walking news.
So, Alan J. Edwards he was a Stockport County fan, and he wrote this book about being gay in Stockport, and it's called "Growing Up Gay in Stockport."
Does what it says on the tin.
Subtitle: Stockport County fan, 1930 to 2018. I haven't got this book, but I'm going to buy it just because it's got Stockport County in it.
I'm going to fight you for it. If there's one copy out there.
He started university at 63 years of age and graduated with a second-class degree, and he's fought for equality for gay men and lived long enough to see drastic changes in English law. But this is the killer. I read something. I'd already printed this out, and then this afternoon I looked again to see if there was any more. I wanted to see if there was a paperback version, but it's not. It is available now on paperback, but not in time for today. And he's one of the things he put in it. When I left school, I joined the Navy, and I was very athletic, a really good sportsman. But apparently, you can't be a puffer and a sportsman. And he's put that in his own bio. And I was like, I've got to buy that book. I have to buy that book.
So it says stop. Why did he stop supporting County in 2018? Did he die?
No, these are games between 1930 and 2018.
Oh,
so he talks
right.
about going to the game. But
Got you.
I just thought it was like that one sentence alone. I was like, well, that's hooked. I'm hooked now. I've got to read that book.
I think we need a special episode. We need to read that book and do an episode covering it because that sounds amazing.
Yeah, apparently it's not a big book either. I think it's only like a 50.
Oh, you'll be all right then, Russ.
Yeah, I don't.
He's got plenty of pictures.
Oh, hey.
I bet there's plenty of pictures, you dirty old bollocks.
So yeah, that's the only book that I could find. That's the only book that I could find that I haven't actually got, and I am going to buy it. But I'll probably buy it incognito. Don't want it on my account.
It's nearly 2022.
No, but my wife looks at what I've been buying, so she might question things.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Never too late.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. See, Sal, we brought a new person to the table, and he's already at your level.
I'd never have said that. Oh yeah, I would.
Oh no,
yeah.
You would have. You're a bit gutted that you didn't.
So, are there any more that stick out then? I mean,
hello.
Oh, I mean, the quiz book's quite a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, there was an official quiz book from, again, that same period that sort of night. Well, the year that came out. What year was that?
2000. It must be 2008-ish because it's got that. It's an official. It's official Stockport County one, but it's the pro. Do you remember the programs of the time?
Yeah, because the person who did that, it's not a county fan. He did loads. There's loads of them for different
various,
clubs.
isn't it? It's one of them. There's loads of people. I put it down as various on my list because I couldn't be bothered listing them all.
But he keeps popping up. He still pops up on Facebook now, trying to flog it. He pops up in the county supporters group, trying to flog that quiz book from 13 years ago.
Yeah, I won't point to the ones I did 13 years ago. No, I mean there's a few odd ones in there. And like Ian Lancashire, who everybody knows, he wrote a book called Fantastico, which is there at the back there, and it's a book all about. Again, it's very similar to the Simon Myers. It's like photocopied and stuff like that, but it's about the Bristol Rovers game where we were bottom of the league, bottom of the 4th division. They were top of the 3rd, and we had 20,000 watching us beat them. So it's all about a one-off game. And then there's a blue and white thing there called 2003-04, which is Ian Brown's account of the season where we went to China at the end. So it's the sort of thing that I buy, and every now and then I'll have a look at it. I haven't read any of those from start to finish. I just dip into them every now and then, just to, like you did last night.
Yeah, like I do with every book.
No, but like you did last night when you said, "Oh, we couldn't." I thought that Toddy had scored the second goal.
Oh yeah.
So I dip into stuff like that. That's why I have so many reference books. The other thing is I've got every single Rothmans until we went out of the Football League. So I stopped buying them once we went out of the Football League because what's the point? It's like, and I know I actually did get the first couple of non-league ones, but then
that's surprising me. That surprised me though, Phil, because you're like a stalwart of non-league, are you not?
But I've always but those me county books. So the Rothmans were for always when I was writing for the program for stuff like that. But I've always had non-league things, but I didn't really want to see Stockport County in them.
Right.
So I stopped buying them because got Stockport County in them. I still obviously go to games and stuff, and I've always gone to non-league football.
Yeah.
There were two different things for the majority of my life.
That's exactly it, yeah.
And now, and it's funny, somebody said to me at Notts County, you love all this non-league stuff, don't you? And I said, I don't love this non-league stuff. I actually do love non-league stuff, but not this.
Right.
Because it's not, that's the other side. That's not me. Richard, when we started going through the leagues, I don't know if any of you ever met Richard.
It's like when your missus starts texting one of your mates, isn't it?
No, I don't know. It's never happened to me, that. Was it you? No, but Richard was one of them people that once we got to the championship, he got bored of it.
I remember you saying, saying
the first couple of seasons we were brilliant, and then we started being shite, and then he'd see that Rochdale had a new stand built, and Crewe had done this, and he'd be like, "But I'd rather be playing Rochdale than getting dicked 5-1 by such a body."
Yeah.
And then he never. The daft thing is, I was talking to his sister the other day. He would have loved the first season in non-league when we were all like, "Oh God, this is shit." He'd have been loving it. He would have loved to have commented. I mean, imagine the stuff he would have said about some of the grounds. Just imagine Richard Harwell commentating on Forest Green Rovers. I mean, the first ever. I'll tell you a quick story about Forest Green Rovers. Not the first year we went because that was a Friday night, but the second time we went, didn't know that immediately after the game they spray horse shit or cow shit, liquid cow shit on the pitch after. And we're all stood doing interviews, people. Oh, God, the stench was unbelievable. And then we realised that's why their media team went inside. We were all outside doing our bit. But I can just imagine, Richard, hey, we're here down at Forest Green. You don't smell of cow shit around here. So, yeah, I think he would have preferred our non-league journey. And obviously, because within 3 years we were at step 6, so he would have probably enjoyed step 6 for the first season.
Fucking hell!
No, not because of
I get it.
Loved all that,
Yeah,
but once it got to year 4 and 5, he'd have been like, well, he'd be turning in his grave. There's no two ways about it. He would have absolutely, like all of us, you know. I mean, my problem with it, the 6th tier, was the fact that too many people weren't angry enough. You know, people had settled for being at that division, and it just, I know it's gone on a rant now, isn't it? I've got to stop.
Yeah,
but
we've got a separate show for this.
No, that's another book.
Yeah.
So what? That's what I meant
Where
before.
he was in.
No, that's what I was saying about before about that. Somebody, I do know a couple of people who are already putting together a non-league book. You know, the non-league years. One of them I know is going to do a good job of it. The other one I'm not too sure because I don't really know. He's only been a county fan really since we got shit. You know.
Oh, right, okay.
So it will be 2 different.
Glory
books.
on
No, but it'll be 2 different books because
I know the people I know both of the, well, I know one of the people you're referring to. I know who one of them is, and yeah, you're absolutely spot on with your assessment. Yeah, it will be good, I think.
Yeah.
Is there any comments coming about wanting to see any of the other books or anything like that? Have you been looking at the comments? Because I can't.
We've had a question from. I can do my Jimmy Savile again. We've had a question here from Ian Belden. Question for Phil: how long did it take you to write The Man from Uruguay with all the research you needed to? Also, it's his favourite book.
Nice.
The last sentence will do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you, and also for taking a mickey out of Nick before. It took. I suppose it took me about 6 years. Maybe I initially spoke to Dan about doing it. So we were. I'll tell you quick. I was sat at home one night. The phone rings, and my daughter was about 11 at the time, and she answered the phone, and she turned to me. She went, "Dad," and she mouthed the words "Danny Bagara." She was going, "Danny Bagara on the phone, Danny Bagara," like that. I was like, "What?" And she's nearly crying. It's Danny Bagara. So I picked the phone up, and Danny used to always call me Stuart Brennan. It became like the joke, and he'd say, "Stuart," and I go, "Phil, yeah, whatever." So we talked about writing it, and we did a little bit of research into it, and then he rang me up and said that Brian Glanville, who wrote for the People and the News of the World, I don't know the News of the World, but Brian Glanville was up there, proper writer, and I was down here, somebody who just wanted to do a bit. So I stood aside, and then it never happened. For whatever reason, it didn't happen. And then we spoke again, and I said, "Look, I would really like to do this." So there'd been about a 3-year gap between me writing a little bit and then going back to him. And then unfortunately, he took ill and then obviously passed away. And it was another couple of years before I spoke to Jan and said, "Look, I'd really like to do this, even if I just write about the Stockport County years." And she was like, "Well, come to the house." And we had a chat, and she brought all these scrapbooks out. And I was like, wow, that is just so much information. And I was like, I'm going to have to write his whole life story, aren't I? And she was like, "Yeah, if you're going to write it, you've got to write it all, and you get the support of the family, and we'll do it." And mate, I have to say, even now, it gives me goosebumps thinking about that first day, looking at all this stuff about the man that, you know, a lot of us adored for the way things changed. So from sitting down properly and writing the book from that meeting, I'd say probably about 2.5 years. And a lot of it was sort of like at nights, weekends, not Saturdays, because obviously I was at the game with the media team and stuff. So, and then I think 2.5 years of real hard work, but the last 3 months was every day because I'd left the club. So the last 3 months was every day, 7 days a week, just fine tuning it, making sure that the translations were right. And I think if I condensed it all into man hours, probably 6 months completely, 6, 7, 8 months. And obviously then, you know, you're back and forwards to the family to make sure that they were all happy with it. And the reason I bought the hardback out, again, pretty much about the same as that book there. I wanted it to be a hardback in the first place, but I couldn't get a book deal anywhere. And, you know, you still really can't unless you're Oliver Holt or somebody. So went down the self-publishing route and just couldn't afford to print them in hardback because people wouldn't pay what a hardback would have cost back then. So we've done it in hardback now, and we've added a few bits to it, and condensed the images, and I'm really, really happy the way it is now. And now, because we're happy with the hardback, we've just done the translation version for the Uruguayan Spanish market, which should be available, won't be available before Christmas. But yeah, thanks very much for saying it's your favourite book, because it means a lot to me, and I know how much it means to the family. I mean, I've now got an extended Uruguayan family, and and people all over. Well, a lot of people in Spain. I get regular contact from people who want little bits for the book to use for radio play in Uruguay. And even as recently as the first lockdown, the guy who actually helped me helped Danny's niece do the translation, Uruguayan lad in 36, I think, never heard of Danny Bergara. And because he was in lockdown, was trawling the internet for stuff. And then I noticed all these tweets coming up in Spanish about Danny Bergara, and I was like, who's this person?
I think I saw him tweeting him.
Yeah, that's right.
So I did.
So I sent him a private message and said, if you want any more stuff, just let me know, because the more Spanish, Uruguayan, and he'd sent me a really long email about and how he nearly broke down in tears because he was so annoyed at himself that he'd never heard of this person. And I've spoken to a couple of people about these chances of it being made into a film. Funny enough, one of the guys, an Argentinian, who's looking at making it into a film. But I've heard that before, so whether or not it ever does, I personally think it's a great story. Not just because, I just put the words together. I didn't write it. It's his life. So, but I genuinely think it would make a great story. I mean, you've seen the Maradona film. It makes a much better story than that. Not that he was anywhere near his class, but as a story, it's a much better story.
Yeah. Well, I want to listen to podcasts talking about 90s football, and obviously Danny gets a fair bit of mention on those, especially with the Doncaster documentary. They mentioned that on one episode, so he comes up on there.
Don't come out of that too well, does it?
No, but the amount of times he gets mentioned, and I'm just like, oh, you have no idea of the full story. It's just like as soon as you tell someone about Danny's story, they are just transfixed straight away. So it would be, if that story was more out there, then that'd be amazing.
Well, you think? I mean, so the book was out in December 2013. And it still sells regularly every month. It sells on the Amazon site, which unfortunately isn't colour, but it sells every month. But Kindle every month, somebody, I know it. I don't know. Every month I get a little ticket off them saying you've sold 6 pence worth of or whatever. The Kindle's not. It's a service really. The Kindle thing isn't a money making thing. It's there, like you just said, to get the story out there.
Yeah.
Once I'd finished it, and once the family were okay with it, it didn't matter to me whether it made any money. It was all about the family loved what we've done. Let's get it out there. But the amount of times that snippets from the book have been used in TV shows, radio shows, magazines. And most of them do ask you for permission, but there are those that don't. They just go ahead and nick it. But again, it's getting the story out there, and that it was an amazing man. He did wonders for our football club, but for me particularly, for that time, it was just an incredible time to be a Stockport County fan, and I feel that we're not far off being back there. Whether Charlie turns out to be the next Danny Bergara, the next Jim Gannon, whichever, if he can do what he's done elsewhere, then he'll be a legend at this football club because he's got the tools, he's got the record. So, there's no reason why. I mean, the other thing is, quickly, Danny is still the second longest serving manager. I know Jim's beaten him in all the terms he's been here.
Yeah.
But Danny Bergara is the second longest serving manager at Stockport County, and we're 100 and God knows how many years old now.
Yeah.
Years. So it's incredible to think that, in all that time, that's another reason why people love him so much, is the fact that, the end of his first season, I mean, the first bit of half season, it was just clearing the decks and stuff. First full season, playoffs. Never been in the playoffs before. Second full season, promotion. Third full season, playoffs, Wembley. Fourth full season, playoffs, Wembley. Fifth full season, Wembley. And then, obviously, the world ended then because we got beat by Burnley, and it was like, it was the end.
They cancelled all the football after that.
So, the condensed, if you think, so he did half a season at the beginning, half a season at the end, but the 5 full seasons were just incredible. And imagine having it all there to just write it out. It was just like, wow. But the thing is that he, again, I was totally unaware of how good a footballer he was until I started reading these reports in Spain, and the fact that Barcelona tried to buy him twice, and they turned. I can't remember they turned a bid down from Real Madrid, but they wouldn't let him talk to Real Madrid. But in most of the seasons he was in Spain, he was one of the top scorers. Well, he was nearly always top scorer at his club, and he was a number 10. Really, he wasn't an out and out striker. So he was a phenomenal footballer. And I remember Andy King, late Andy King, who played for Everton. He always said that he would never have been a professional footballer if it hadn't been for Danny. I spoke to him about when we were putting the book together, and he said he was going nowhere as a kid. And Danny took him to one side at Luton and said to him, right, you're playing centre half today. And he was like, what? He said, yeah, you're going to play centre half today, centre half stroke sweeper. And he said, why? He said, so you can see everything that's going on. And the following week, he's in the first team squad and never looked back. So little things like that. I've spoken to so many players that played with him, and, the likes of Peter Beagrie and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I spoke to Peter Beagrie after the book had come out. So I should have put it in this last one, shouldn't I? But the other thing that's quite an unknown fact, Ron Atkinson, and then the reason this isn't in the book is because I couldn't get the person involved to confirm it. Ron Atkinson took Danny Bergara as a coach for pre-season, and one particular player stayed behind at every training session so that Danny Bergara could teach him how to scissor kick and volley a ball. And that player went on to make that his trademark move, played for Barcelona, Man United, Everton, Bayern Munich, played for his country. Now, I'm told that from a member of United staff, but because I wanted to be sure it was true, I've never been able to ask Mark Hughes that question. But I've no reason to disbelieve it, but I didn't put it in just in case. But, it's... I've had it confirmed by more than one member of staff that actually happened. But
that is awesome.
It would be nice if Mark Hughes had actually... I mean, you see some people, Peter Beagrie I mentioned, he used to talk about him when he was on Soccer Saturday and stuff like that. So you're right, a lot of players who played with him would talk about, his influence. But I've never heard anybody ask Mark Hughes. If I ever see Mark Hughes, whether it's in Tesco's or whatever, you've got my permission to ask that question if you see him.
Oh, I will. I mean, he's doing now else at the moment, is he? So
he is a bit reclusive. He don't really do media, does he? That's the problem.
No, he doesn't, does he? No.
But anyway, there you go. Thank you, Ian.
He does shopping though, so I'll fucking get him. Don't you worry.
I think he's probably a Waitrose man, isn't he?
Oh, fuck him then. Sorry.
You're
not going to get asked.
You're a little man, aren't you?
Aldi, mate. Come on, let's not be silly.
No, sorry, I meant little.
I'm a little man. What's wrong with little? Good little.
You got any more questions?
Yeah, any more questions?
Any
comments coming through anymore?
Joe Inglesfield said, yeah, so he's a fan. Good evening, gents, from Harry. Nice to see Phil B too.
Oh, thanks, Harry.
And if you can, Phil Cross, a friend of Pennodraws, is getting involved as well. He knows.
House number one.
He knows.
I played with Phil at Millbrow until I got too many red cards and had to leave.
There's always one in there. If anyone can help us decipher this one, from Catherine McLaughlin.
Who's Catherine McLaughlin?
I don't know, but that's
VO
for your information.
Yeah. VOY.
So that's my night ruined because I'm
Very
just going to be trying to work
observant
that out.
youth. No.
Why not?
You're the
Vaginas. Oi! For your information.
Made me jump then.
Brilliant.
Good stuff. Right. Any more books that we can cover?
I think we've done it.
Okay.
I mean, there's 2 Dave Jones books in there. I mean,
On the Edge.
yeah,
I
On
saw
the
that.
Edge, and
Yeah.
what's the other one? Oh, No Smoke, No Fire, which was his follow up. I think there's a few like there's Goodbye to the North, not the 5th.
I'll write goodbye to the 5th.
What I would say,
I'll need some help writing it.
If I can always put a list out that I've got, and then anybody can fill in the gaps. You know, there's
Yes.
going to be something out there that I haven't got.
Well, there should be a list. There should be a list out there that we. I mean, there should be a list that we can create. Get it on our website.
I should
Definitive list.
Yeah.
I can. I'll do that. Simplify that spreadsheet.
Excellent.
For you. Your copy's here, by the way. That's your copy.
Nice one. Can you sign it, please?
Oh, we've got to sign them books.
Yeah. If you make that digital, I'll do the rest.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And then people can tell us what we're missing, and we'll stick it on the website.
Yeah, so somebody can tell me what year Lank's book came out.
Well, Ian Lancashire can tell us, can't he?
I was going to say, Lanks will be in touch with some really obscure ones that you've not heard of.
Does he watch your podcast? Does he comment? on it?
No.
I don't know if he can use YouTube. He doesn't comment, but I don't know if he can use YouTube. I'm not sure.
Or is he banned?
No, I just think he's too old. I think he has. He always goes on about having tablet trouble on Yellowboard, and I don't know if it's a medication thing or an IT thing.
I have to be honest. I've stopped looking at message boards.
Same.
Just there's not
Same.
enough hours in the day. When Peter Snake makes it your job at night. Sorry, we went back to dark days again, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Part 6. 5. Is it 5 the next one? 6?
No, we've done 5. We're on 6.
We're not doing
next.
anything.
6. Yeah.
Well, we should do.
Should we?
Well, yeah, because we were still dark days at the time, 2015. Might get Bellis on for that. Steve wants to do it because he got rid of the pointy fella, didn't he? The pointy shoed fella.
Yeah. I
So
don't know. He's blocked me. I don't mean Steve. I mean the other fella.
oh right, I see.
Oh, that's same. Yeah. He's blocked me.
Funny
Right.
enough, didn't block me till the end of dark days. Weird that.
Right, let's keep it about books. So this episode's timeless, and we don't get
What
into any timestamp
would you
stuff.
like to hit Ryan McKnight in the face with?
Oh,
War and Peace.
he did make an appearance in one of my early efforts because my original cartoon. You're not cartoonist.
I'm just gonna check in this that he's not in here.
No, he's not. Yeah, we did have a character. That looked
Where's all
extremely
Gummidge?
like him. Yeah, I think just to come back to the book, this, if anybody is interested in getting it who's not already got it, you need to be sharp because if you want to get it in time for Christmas, literally, we only bought a limited amount before Christmas. We've topped it up, but obviously, if the club are going to be selling it in the new year, then we don't really want to be selling it. We just want the club to sell it because it's makes more sense. But at the moment, we've fulfilled pretty much all our orders, but we did top the order up just in case. But once they've gone, we're not going to get any more before Christmas because we're not going to be able to deliver them before Christmas. So there's no point in us keep pushing it. Once we get down to like single numbers, that's what we'll be saying. There's literally, single numbers left, and it'll be the new year before we look at ordering more.
Yeah, obviously it depends what the club wants to do. If they want to take it off us, if not, we'll get some more done ourselves. But obviously that's a decision for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as I say early on, we been overwhelmed with the response. I mean, genuinely, from the first minute we started putting it on social media, that it was quite obvious that we were going to sell, a good number of these before we'd even got it out there, and people have come good with their orders. So
Good stuff. Well, you can count on us to retweet it and post it and all that kind of stuff. So we'll do all that, whatever we can do.
The other thing is we need there's people in it that I was just going to say we've he's recreated some very iconic scenes, like the Sam Walker at Nuneaton, like Bully and Ash Palmer at Nuneaton. Just Danny, what's his name? Danny Lloyd.
Lloydie, yeah.
Lloyd. Sorry about that, Dan. Even Dicko's in there with the playoff winning team, the 9 in a row. So all the players that the adults will recognise, they're all in there for a reason. They're all, Big Kev's in there. Obviously, Danny's in there. Mickey Quinn. There's stuff in it that is really sort of well. It's done. I was going to say it's done well. It's illustrated well. That's the word I was looking for. But a lot of kids will look at it and read it through the pictures, and then probably go back and read the words later. Because you've tried to recreate a lot of iconic photographs that have gone through Stockport County history. So you get to a page and you know what that page is going to be about. So I just think bloody, I didn't realise he was in it.
Non-league days, Odishai, Phil Jevons, they're all.
Yeah, Big K.
Big K, that's his name. I couldn't think of his name. See, do you know what? I did see him play. I saw him play at FC United. But that particular season, I never saw County play at home. I saw him play away about 3 seasons. So there's been a few recent seasons where I've very rarely been to Edgley Park. I've seen County every single season. They've been in non-league football, but it's usually been reporting away from home.
Got another listener, viewer / reader wants to leave a message for Phil.
Oh. Do you know what? Hello, Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, but our friend and yours, Phil Robinson, there started tuning in.
Worst editor ever. Yeah, well, that's because I used to let you write for the program. Love Awesome. Those who don't know, but Phil wrote a brilliant piece for the magazine, for the Matchday magazine.
Yeah.
Orson Cartier. He actually wrote in the very first issues of non-league magazine as well, until we got a restraining order on him.
He's dead now. Orson Cartier is.
Is he?
Yeah, Phil informed me the other week. Yeah, he fell off Landud No Pier apparently.
I could tell you some stories about Mr. Robinson, but I won't because he'll tell stories about me.
Yeah, maybe a separate podcast they would.
Right, good stuff. Should we finish there?
Yeah, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah.
So, do you want to have another burst, seeing as I've took over the microphone?
No, I'm happy we've covered everything.
Okay. Everything you need to know if you're watching it on YouTube is on the bottom, on the ticker at the bottom. So, contact Rick or Phil or contact us and we'll point you in the right direction if you want a copy.
Just say your Twitter, where it's easiest way to find it is on your Twitter handle, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you click on my Twitter, it's actually on there.
Yeah.
So at Pennodraws.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, at Pennodraws. There we go. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for that.
Thank you.
That's been good.
That was really good. Thanks, Nick, for
two
coming on.
Two podcasts in a row that I've enjoyed.
He looks like a very slim Tom Davis there, doesn't he?
Tom Davis?
He plays for the Everton, doesn't he?
No. The big Cockney comedian.
Oh, God. I thought it was more Walter White myself, but...
Oh, he is a bit Walter White, yeah.
No, steering away.
Don't encourage him, Russ.
No, because I really like Walter White. I'm not a big fan of Tom Davis. I was trying to, dig in.
Right, cool. Let's call it there. Cheers, everybody, for joining us tonight. We're back tomorrow for the weekly episode. No, the weekly episode, Torquay review, and we'll look forward to Grimsby on Saturday.
Who's with us tomorrow night, Russ? We've got a guest.
We've got Eurovision entrant from 2006, Daz Sampson. So I'm looking forward to not getting a word in edgeways, to be honest.
Chart bothering football coach.
Chart bothering football coach, yeah.
That's good. Phil could do a job on QVC. Next up, there's a signet ring. Did I pass the audition?
Bit more fake tan.
Okay. Right, let's call it a day. Cheers for watching. Cheers for listening. Do give the show a like if you can and subscribe if you've not already done so. I have to get that in. And yes, we will see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.
This is the Scarf Bagara War, a Stockport County fan-created podcast, blog, YouTube live show and website. Find us at thescarfbaggarawar.co.uk. For county fans, by county fans.